Patrols there. Y'all want to cover that, or you want me to give you the jails too before we start?
Give
jail.
cover this. Go ahead. You know, it's like giving a kid a test, giving more than one pencil, it's gonna be a problem.
Isn't it like how they throw two different things at you? It's like, wait a minute.
Thank you, it's divided into 50%.
One. Timmy? One for you. All right. No, Your Honor, I don't really know much about that, so I didn't want to comment because I'm not sure how much is out there.
I just got a little wind of, so I'm talking about.
Okay, starting with patrol, call for assistance. We had 12 suspicious circumstances, 2 disturbances, 3 livestock complaints, 9. 1 fire, 1 suspicious person, 1 missing person, 3 civil matters, all calls for service for 43, a total of 75 for the month of April. Served 71 sets of papers, took 1 into custody on a mental health. Actually, we had 4 that wound up being voluntary commit for the month, but I guess patrol handled that 1. The other ones were either directly through the jail or from PD. Made 13 arrests, 139 traffic stops, 23 citations issued. They drove a total of 7,562 miles. Had 5 forensic interviews at Virginia's house, and drug-related arrests were 3.
Livestock complaints are down considerable.
They are doing much better. I think some of our landowners are helping out a little bit.
Doing a little better job.
Doing a little bit better.
Thank you, Darren.
The grass is green on the other side.
I can say the grass is green in the pasture
I don't know what's the break that though.
All right, moving on to the jail report. As y'all know, we were inspected and we passed, as I expect. I've never have in all my years failed one yet, but anything can happen. That's right. The 2 technical things we got assistance on, one was one of our new jailers wasn't showing up in the state computer as being a temporary license. It was just a computer thing. John had, Chief Orr had submitted all the paperwork, done everything, but there was some kind of error and it got rejected, so he wasn't showing. We got that corrected that day, and so when they came back the following day, it was where it belonged. The other thing was the way we do disciplinaries. They didn't like the form I used, and they didn't like the perception, he said. He said he understood what we were doing and why, but it looked like we were finding them guilty of their violation and punishing them before we had a hearing. And they do have due process even with jail regulations. So we're going to change the form, and I don't know why I've been using that form for 20 years, but all of a sudden this time, last year it was fine, this time it's not. So anyway, those are the 2 technical assistant things we got, was how we handle disciplinaries, and one was one of our jailers that was not showing current, and he was working. Actually, he was in school, but anyway.
Disciplinary of the inmates or the?
No, one of the officers.
Oh.
It was one of the officers. We've averaged 53 inmates for the month of April. We traveled 3,020 miles. We took 6 people to TDC units. We picked up 2 others out for outstanding warrants in other counties. Reimbursement, they said, is going to be electronic transfer for TDC reimbursement for transports.
Okay, so we get the form to them yet?
I don't know.
I think
When I talk-
John probably, he has a blank one,
Okay.
but I'll talk to him.
Okay.
Can we get that report for reimbursement from you or from you?
No, they have to, he's talking about they'll send us the money instead of sending.
Instead of sending out.
Do you know that it's been sent?
See, I won't know unless it gets to the treasurer. When I contacted them, because I sent in April's, I do this each month. I send in them for reimbursements and request the payment. Well, we've had this glitch since last April when they changed the form and they changed everything and it put everything, and the lady that handled that retired after 38 years with TDC, and they, so we've
We've all
been,
pivoted around her.
I guess so, I don't know. But anyway, we hadn't been receiving any money, so I keep calling, they keep telling, we're getting caught up.
Well, somebody had to have a request for us to fill out the ACH, and I've never received one. They would have, had y'all give them the ACH blank?
I haven't given anybody anything. The lady told me when I talked to her on the phone that yes, they had received our request for reimbursement for May 2017 to present. Up to that point was March. She had received all those, and I knew she had because we sent it return receipt requested, so I have those. So I know they received them, but they hadn't been processed. She said that it would be coming electronically,
Maybe that's it.
and now it's going to be several $1,000s, but
We've been getting a number in this position on these reports, haven't we?
well, I haven't had any money since early in the year.
They just don't issue any,
January last time.
Okay,
they don't issue any warrants and where I think those ACH, but unless they have a new ACH form for that department, they won't send it through, but I haven't received one, nobody's contacted me, so.
okay.
So our money's in limbo somewhere.
Somewhere. Supposedly, it's being transferred electronically because they don't do paper
You
anymore.
can give me the number when I'm home.
All right, that's fine. So anyway, we've got some money somewhere.
Another one of those budget balance things.
I guess so. They're not going to pay us for transfer.
You can't even say the check's in the mail anymore. Checks.
Mm-mm.
It's in there.
Somewhere. We
Hey,
said,
would it come from the Department of Justice?
no, it would be Texas Department of Criminal Justice. It's TDCJ.
Oh,
Because we're small enough, they will not pick ours up. The bus comes right through here on 380, and I've offered them the use of our Sally Port. I've even said we could be a transfer station, but they don't want to stop in Graham. They stop in Wichita, and we have to go all the way to Middleton. Well, that bus comes right through here, going from Middleton wherever, so, I don't know.
I see it pretty often.
I've tried to work that out with their transportation, but I told them our Sally Port was big enough to handle 2 buses at one time if need be. And, but they don't want to do that, so. Anyway, we transported 1 juvenile, 556 miles. We had 4 people that we took to MHMR facilities. 19 were local, just their normal doctor visits, all that stuff
Are
here.
those up?
Oh, yeah.
Really? I noticed the average population is 53 with 19 going to MHMR.
And they're all on some type of psychotropic drug or mood stabilizer.
How many of these have been in our jail and going to MHMR appointments for the last 6 months?
About 13 of them. 13 of them. One of them's been, that's individuals, that's not, no, if they have multiple ones, that's just redundant.
So the number of appointments actually would be even higher than the number of individuals with appointments.
That's correct. Some, not always, but some of them do have 2 a month. But no, these are just 19 individuals that we took over there.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So if he wasn't in jail right now, would he be going to MHMR? That's what I'd like to know.
Here's the thing.
Let's use the system.
A lot of people get out of jail, and sometimes I do see them over there making their appointments.
Right.
But most of the time, they get out of jail, they'll go get their prescription refilled, and after that, they never see them again, and they wind up calling us, go, when did he get out of jail? When did she get out of jail? Okay, we're gonna close them out because we haven't seen them. And the minute they come back to jail, first thing they do is they put in a request to go see MHMR because they can't sleep or they're feeling hopeless. That's the new key term now.
We're hopeless, huh?
If they use that terminology. So,
Well, no doubt that some of those need to be going to MHMR.
some of them do, some of them it's just,
They're using the system.
some of them use it so that when they get out, they can get government assistance. Because if you're on MHMR and they have a counselor that helps them, they can get housing, they can get their utilities paid, they can get food
So the
stamps.
jail is creating a continuance of public welfare.
Yes, we are. But that's the system.
Beautifully.
You.
I have to work.
Shoes.
We had 2 routine transports to Graham Regional. One, we had one come in with a cut on their leg, and it got worse. We had to take them over. The other one was our pregnant female who's no longer in jail. Thank goodness. The reason it was so many hours is they had to do this 4-hour test on the pregnant girl, where she had to go over there and take a blood test, and then I gave her something and wait so long and do another test. And anyway, it took 4 hours. So that's why it's 5.5 hours.
I look at Marcia. This is right.
No, I mean, it had to be done.
Right.
Get up
Well,
on that.
necessary thing.
Well, here's the bad thing. She was convicted in county court. She was sentenced to the jail. Okay? While she's incarcerated and they are pregnant, we have to meet, by jail standards, we have to meet their prenatal care. So Dr. Colley's the only one in town that sees,
You gotta go to court now.
so he sees them here, but anything a doctor says, I want this done, we have to do it. We don't have any choice. So, now whether or not she keeps up her care with Dr. Colley now that she's out, your guess is as good as mine. But anyway, we had 2 go to the dentist, which I'm getting more and more requests for that. But all we do is pull them. We don't do anything else. They have a bad tooth.
Who is our dentist now?
Same one we've always used.
I thought last year retired.
Sonnenberg?
It's Sonnenberg, but it's Hill now, and he had set aside. Nobody else wants it.
I know.
They don't want those inmates in there waiting in there.
We don't want to drive to Albany. I mean, that's tied up.
Right. I just didn't know who was doing it.
Okay.
Dr. Steinberg retired.
Yeah, he is.
Class C's for the city of Graham, we held 21 inmates for 92 days at a cost of $2,852. We had the one day for Albany. And then we had 2 inmates for Baylor County, 6 days each. So we billed them for $540. It cost us $372, which that actually puts $168 in our pocket.
I was wondering what that was. I was gonna ask you. I was looking at it.
That's a question.
Well, yeah. The good thing was we billed them for a few days in March, and then we had those few days in April, bled over.
They're no longer there.
No, the feds picked that case up, and they got whisked away. And the sheriff in Baylor County says he's looking to have some more with us coming up, but he uses Baylor and Archer most of the time. But they're wanting to clear up some warrants and stuff, so we told them to take whatever they can bring us. So
There's not anything about it, so maybe just an old sale. That's all they are.
that's it. Baylor doesn't have actually a jail at all.
Archer,
Archer County does most of their housing. They use Knox occasionally, but they're kind of like their overflow, kind of like Stevens County. If they get where they need help, they'll come to us. And then of course, Throckmorton County will use us if Stevens can't hold them.
Remind me again the number we use for the city's cost on inmates.
$31 a day. That's if there's no medical, no nothing. That's just housing and feeding them. It runs us right at $31 a day. Now, if they start taking medications or they got to go to the doctor or anything like that, then that of course increases. And that's what the judge is talking about. But under jail standards, I have to figure that based on our budget, divided by how many beds and 365 days a year. 31 is a minimum of what it costs us just to have that person there, period. You get into any kind of medical expense or anything else, then of course that goes
And that
up.
has happened.
It has.
With one of them that cost us, if you'll remember, quite a lot of money. I ended up having to make a deal, a little bit different deal with the hospital on that because it was pretty costly.
Who is the city judge now?
Bishop,
Female?
Teresa.
Teresa Bishop.
Is she good with working with you guys if you have somebody that's got a lot of medical? Okay. Just curious.
I think last year, I believe the state jail commission had the average day in county jail, Oklahoma State, at about $51
Yes.
for inmate day.
But, you know, that fluctuates from facility to facility, and it's hard. I mean, how they came up with that was they just took what we submit for an annual budget and what our bed space, total capacity of 244 bed.
Yeah, but you do that on average daily population through the year. That's
Well, you need that.
That's not the formula that we have to use for their,
Total number of beds, whether they're occupied or not.
exactly. And it's your budget divided by your beds, divided by 365. That's how they have us figure our daily cost.
That's not an accurate fit,
No.
but it fits their formula.
I don't agree with it. That's state thinking. Any other questions, gentlemen?
No, sir.
Oh, just keep that thing operating. Good. Keep everything up according to normal. You're doing a good job.
Thank you, Mr. Meadowville.
Thank y'all.
Okay, item number 10, discuss, consider evidence software package, file on queue, Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Babcock, obviously not present, we're gonna have John Horn, I think he's gonna also include in that,
Chris Moody. He's blowing over.
Chris.
You're a little bit thinner too, aren't you?
He got promoted.
I just want to pay John over it before we started the meeting, I'm sorry, apologize. I think you're gonna also include a little bit about,
Yeah, we had mentioned
disposal of evidence.
Yes.
See some of that disposal. Doing a good job out there.
John Vasquez, do you want to talk about this?
I was gonna let Sergeant Moody, and if you have any questions, I'm here.
I'll let Chris call on you when he wants to.
All right.
I got one more. We have learned a lot just in the past month and a half or so. Ever since I've been in evidence, I've been trying to manage the best that I can with everything else going on. Looking back at our systems, or mainly the computer in the evidence office, I don't recall any system ever put in place to manage our evidence as far as any kind of software other than an Excel program. I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with. Trying to manage all the evidence that we have through that system is not so much of a fail-safe. I'm not perfect. I can imagine anybody else that's ever been in that line, doing that job has made mistakes in the past. There's really no way for me to track those mistakes, to find out what happened, what went wrong, who typed in the wrong number, and so on and so forth. What we're looking at trying to do here is eliminate those mistakes and give us a little more peace of mind. Talking about the newer generations who are going digital. Anybody that comes in behind me, so on and so forth, this is going to be a lot more appealing to them than the way we're trying to do it now, which is really not working, to be honest. We have our paper filing system, which we use. Just to give you kind of an example, we fill out a chain of custody form like Matt knows. We file that in a binder and put it up on the shelf. That has been a chain of custody continued with items that go in the evidence room. Doesn't tell you where it's at. So just walking into a room with 20 binders in place doesn't tell you what's in that room either, without pulling every single one of those binders down and looking at every single one of those pieces of paper. And you can imagine over the last, how long has the sheriff's office been around?
I don't know. You had cases from the 80s, didn't you?
From the 80s.
Yeah.
That's right. So what we figured out is there hasn't ever, that we can recall, ever been a purge in evidence. So we're a little overwhelmed as far as that goes, and we have accomplished a lot just in the past month and a half. On the past month, so Matt, you've seen how much we had in Southport alone. We filled up a 30-foot open top dumpster with destruction of evidence that we submitted over, I believe, 5 destruction orders. not including the 3 hours of narcotics we burned over there at the Graham Police Department using their disposal furnace. Old drugs have been there for years. It should have been destroyed a long time ago. This is the kind of things that we've seen and we don't want to ever go back to. So I know I won't be around forever. Bibby, of course, they can't be here with everything going on with courtroom security and stuff. We've signed blood downstairs, so on and so forth. We get retasked and all that stuff, so time management is also a challenge, which a software program will come and help us with that as well. I don't get a chance to devote as much time as I would like to evidence. I'm trying to cut down as much time as I can because I have other tasks I also have to do, to include training coordinator. That takes a lot of my time, especially when I got jail school going on. This is a software program that I put in front of you today that I believe would be the most efficient and effective as far as cost and time management that we can offer or that we could purchase. There are other programs out there that we've looked at. Another good program is QTEL. We mentioned it before. However, as far as cost, we're looking at spending more than this one over a period within 2 years. One being the initial cost for the other program is about $4,600. The reason why I mentioned that one is comparable to this program as far as it's not complex, it's very user-friendly. Anybody in the department can come in with minimal training and learn this program. And that's what we're looking for, something real simple, something for everybody to use, and something that will manage our evidence, one, with the barcoding system, so we can minimize the time it comes in to do an audit. We're cutting that down to what's taking us a month over a month, down to just a couple of days with the barcoding system, which is unbelievable.
We got going to purchase software.
What's that?
Going to purchase software.
It is a lot like that.
That sounds like.
So we scan that barcode, it makes an inventory list of what you've scanned and then compare it to the computer and.
Each time it moves anywhere.
Each time it moves anywhere, it tracks everything that's ever done. So from the moment that a deputy or officer submits any kind of evidence into the evidence system through our pass-through doors or lockers, once that's submitted into the system, it's there and it's tracked forever, okay? So we can always go back and look and see how it was submitted, what numbers they typed in when they submitted it, how many items that they have, which evidence officer submitted it into whatever location it went into, all that's tracked. If any changes needed to be made, we all make mistakes, so if they put a wrong serial number on a radio that was submitted in for evidence, and the evidence tech catches that, we can go make that change for them, and that's tracked. So we can present that in court when and if it's ever pulled into trial, okay? Which is great. What I like about it is the peace of mind it offers me, and along with the department, y'all and the public. You're looking at, one, tracking all that information, so if there's anything ever put into evidence, and something were to come up missing, you would know it come up missing, okay?
So what you're saying is like, right now, you're doing stuff in the 80s. So 30 years later, when somebody's doing your job, they're gonna go, oh, it's not gonna be like what's happening.
How am I supposed to know what's supposed to be in there back in 1995?
Right, exactly. But for this system, you would.
Right, this is gonna eliminate all that stuff. So any firearm I put in there, any electronic equipment I put in there, any narcotics I put in there, all that stuff is tracked. So we go through and do an audit, which we're looking at doing 100% audit annually. Okay, so that's a report we're going to present, plus we're going to do partial audits quarterly. If we find any discrepancies in those audits, that's gonna tell us, hey, this item isn't where it's supposed to be, or maybe it got put on the wrong shelf and was put back up after trial. Whatever the case may be, this system, when you go through and do an audit, it'll tell you what's in the wrong location. You know what, you didn't scan this during your audit, this item shows to be missing, go back and re-opt this location according to this, not good. That's gonna be something that comes up in that audit.
Will it also keep up with like things that need to be destroyed?
Yes, you can put timeframes on them, so like we talked about with some of the found property, we're looking to keep them for 30 days. Now granted, realistically, we're gonna keep those items longer than 30 days, so if we do find a saddle in the bar ditch that we don't know who it belongs to, these items are gonna fill up space in our evidence room for 10 years. Okay, we can get rid of these items within a quarter. So right now, trying to forecast a plan, I'm looking at more than likely quarterly, trying to go through and found property destruction destroying found properties. We don't need to keep that stuff for over a year, even a year. Try to get rid of it as much as we can. Try to keep as much space available as we can in our evidence rooms. And that's really what we got topped out on is all this evidence we've accumulated over all these years, we've been kind of limited on space, which made it hard to manage, basically to the point where we got to where it wasn't being managed. And that's what we're taking care of, and that's what we've stopped, and that's what we're lining out today. That's what we've been doing for the past month, is getting everything straightened away, making room, getting rid of stuff we can get rid of, and we want to maintain this from this point forward. Trying to do it in an Excel spreadsheet based off what I've seen in the past. It seems like other users have tried to off and on do it the best they could, but I'll tell you, it's not impossible, I would say, but it's real difficult. It's a big challenge trying to go through and enter these items into an Excel spreadsheet and maintain that yourself, because it's going to be hard for someone else to come in behind me and figure out what I did. If something were to happen to me, something happens to Bibby, or whoever comes back in, we get another sheriff or whatever, they want to come in and remanage that system. This is going to tell you everything that you have and where it needs to be, where it's supposed to be, and what you actually have on the shelves at that time. Right now, we don't have anything in place to help us do that.
Well, the other thing is the chain of evidence is important with a trial.
It is critical.
So this right here makes it more authenticity of where it got to this point.
Definitely. We have a trial this week, and I have the items that I was contacted last week. I need you to be here Tuesday morning. Of course, I got my subpoena last week. I'll be there tomorrow morning with the evidence. Had we not done this audit,
You wouldn't know where it was.
I couldn't tell you how long it would have taken me to dig through everything that we have to find the items for this case, because yes, I have a chain of custody form, and yes, I have it where it's put in the evidence room, or put into evidence. But
Where is it at?
Right, so luckily with this trial, the district court, with the audit we just did, I was able to pull up the spreadsheet that we have, our working spreadsheet we have now, and to try to keep track best we can until we get something in place. I was able to go to that location, pull that box, and there's all my items in that bag. So it took me 5 minutes to get all that done.
Well, this generates the barcode, so you're gonna have a cordless scanner that you can get through there.
This system, it will come with a scanner. One of the questions I had during the reviewing this software was, I know things happen, okay? The scanner shouldn't break, but if it were to break, can this system still function without a scanner? Yes, it can. One, the scanner is probably not going to reach our impound lot. Okay, we're still going to track the evidence all the way out at our impound lot. Those can manually be put in. So regardless of whether the scanner works, the scanners were fine, same with
Things happen.
things happen. And the system can still be operated manually for everything. So if you did have to change something from one shelf location to another, you can do that manually as well. So
Plus, it's gonna also make it cheaper on us when we have an auditor come in and do an audit outside.
we're looking at a week at a
You
time.
look at the top 1 week or less.
Right.
Well, look at the money we've saved not having it done for the last 40 years.
That's right.
John, did you have something?
Yeah, if I could just add to what Chris is saying, you're absolutely right. It would be a whole lot cheaper to bring in, because that was one of my first questions to Moody and the sheriff. Do you have a barcoding system? Because that's going to tell me right away how long I'm going to need. But the other thing is I could not meet one of my objectives coming down here, and that is comparing my list with the list that the sheriff's department has for evidence, simply because there is none. And so we have no idea what is supposed to be in there, what is not supposed to be in there that is there. The only way we could find that out, we did, during our audit, we did find some court orders that had been signed back in 2007 on a specific case that had well over 50 items on there. Those items were still on the shelf. So that was one way we knew that they weren't supposed to be there. But we still had to go back and get another court order. Because, 10 years on a court order, I don't think that would go any place.
But you have some judges in there when you get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So is that one, okay.
Yeah. So that, but I wanted to be sure that y'all understood that I could not meet that objective because there wasn't anything there to tell me.
This is a system, and any one of these software systems will do the work for you. This one here, based on the money, based on the capabilities of it, is the best bet for this size agency.
From what I've looked at on this system here, the top two comparable ones, this one and QTEL, the online queue is gonna be, in my opinion, more efficient. We don't have to worry about doing a lot of add-ons. I have to do an add-on for MCOM log. They have a whole list of add-ons that will make it compatible for our department. With this system, it's everything included. Also, another benefit with this system that I like over the other is gonna be any kind of, they customize it to fit our needs. So any sections of that entry, it's one window. You don't have to navigate 10 different tabs to do this system. It's one window. You put everything in. So it's, like I said, it's very user-friendly. Training's gonna be minimal. So I spend a lot of time sitting someone down, showing them how to use this system.
How much is it?
Looking around $8,000 initially, and we're only looking at about $1,000 annually for support after that.
We got tons of money in records management.
Well, Ann and I looked this morning at our money situation and the funds that, not talking about budget and what we had.
We kind of did a little bit of research and we're wondering if we couldn't use the time payment money because it is only to be used for judicial purposes, and we bought that software for the judges out of that line, or that fund, and we have $66,000.
Oh, wow.
That's in the county
Yes, that's,
records management.
no,
Time
time
payment.
payment.
Because this would be so beneficial to the judicial
Is that
systems.
is that applicable fund for this come out?
We think so, and that's the one, yeah, we have to use it.
Well, I know we could out the county records management.
Yes,
Right.
and we.
But I
and we
understand your
looked at-
thinking there, because ultimately this evidence is in the locker for prosecution
It's
in the courts.
It's
And the
through
only
judicial, yeah.
time we've ever used time payment since I know of is when we purchased the software for the judge, you and the district judge.
The smart
And
man.
The
it's
smart
$1,000 a year after that.
And we have
So $1,000
$66,000.
maintenance after that.
That's for,
Maintenance.
like I said,
So we could keep doing that out of that $1,000?
We could, our budget
No,
for
I
it,
think we should use it.
just use the time.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you don't use it, the state may come back and say, you know what, I want this money back.
See where you look, what you're looking at there.
like I said, the benefit on this program is they're allowing us as many changes as we need to customize it for our department. So any fields that need to be added or removed, mandatory fields added, so make sure that the officers they have to put something in that field before they continue on, or submitted. Those are the things that benefit us the most. It really cuts down, it doesn't eliminate mistakes, like I said, mistakes still happen.
This
It's gonna lower the mistake.
Right, this is really gonna make it difficult to continue making mistakes.
This include updates or?
You gotta have hardware too. You got something existing out there.
Should already have anything. I'm not an IT expert.
The hardware.
Oh, I think that's not gonna be a problem.
So the computers we got out there can handle it fine?
So Windows,
It
whatever
says
they have.
right here what-
So I'm wondering though, when operating systems change, will there be a charge for updates and
Sure.
compatibility issues
Not
and
with
software?
$1,000 a year.
That's what I'm thinking, with the
I
maintenance
wanna make sure
thing,
that
should
it's-
That's
cover
what
it.
should be the
When we do
I
update.
that.
looked at that, but we had our meeting and I think
Yes.
it'll be fine.
That's all included in your support, you get free updates. And if I could add one more thing on the word customization, a lot of times that scares people thinking that, oh, it's customized, so it's costing us more. Not with this program. The customization is in quotes, basically. This company understands that not every law enforcement agency operates the same. So they're not gonna give you something off the shelf where you now have to adapt to what their system
It
uses.
adapts to you.
It adapts to the agency. And even during with the webinar that we had, Shannon, who was the salesperson, even explained, if you see that you need something moved, or you need a field deleted, or something added, just let us know. We'll dump it in there.
Let me ask you a question. When we get this system, you got a case from 2010. Do you gotta go back and put a new label on it, do everything?
That's the idea.
How does the officer sign for it? Because you know the officer ain't gonna be there.
What do you mean?
You've already
Like,
got
you know,
that.
now when we do evidence, you know, you sign your little evidence
Oh.
bag and whatever, so how?
You're gonna have to maintain that original chain of
That's what
custody
I'm saying,
on
okay.
the older evidence. And then when it goes to trial,
Mhm.
then that's gonna have to be explained away. We went out and bought this new system, we now barcoding, but
Right.
here's the original when it first
But
came
now I
in.
can find it in
Absolutely.
48G, whatever.
Absolutely.
The ones
Okay.
we have to keep from back in 2010.
Right,
Yes.
I think so too.
And with the reports that get kicked out and he does an inventory, you don't get a list of everything that's in there. What you get is a list of where the deficient areas are. If something's not in its place, or if something's not there, period. That's where that's the report that you're gonna get, because it automatically matches up with what's already in your system.
Well, he could go every quarter with his barcode deal and go around and check everything and match it back and see if it's in its place where it's put back or not.
Absolutely.
That way he can make it more efficient in his
Is
system.
he
Well,
supposed to
then-
do that quarterly? Is he supposed to do that quarterly?
Yes, and that's one of the things I discussed with him. Industry standards state that you need to do at least a 25% inventory on your guns, drugs, and money. Guns, drugs, and money. And then at least on a yearly basis, going back in there and doing 100%, because those are your more highly pilferable items, obviously. They have a tendency to walk. But then you can also go back in and do an inventory on any of the general property in there. Even with we had, I want to say right around, somewhere around 2,500, 3,000 cases. Case numbers. This is not items. So a lot of those cases
That
have,
county does?
I'm sorry,
They do right now?
Yes.
2,500.
One of those cases.
before we started disposing.
Yeah.
So you can imagine thousands more items added on to the number of case numbers that you have. We could have gone in there, even with those numbers, and gotten that inventory done in roughly 3 to 4 days, where it took us 3 weeks. I think it's saving Jack for me.
Tear up some of those guns.
But it just makes sense.
Well, then
I seen him
each
up
person
there.
has connections with that computer will have an ID number or already.
It's 100% tracked, so that's another benefit to the system is whenever Bob gets online and submits an evidence to the blocker, right, so now it's tracked through digital, I don't have to have a sheet of paper every time. They're gonna tag with a barcode every piece of item, they put it in that pass-through blocker. They're gonna have limited access, they can submit evidence, look at the evidence, stuff like that. The evidence technician's the manager's gonna take that evidence, submit it, be able to move it around, use it back and forth going to court, so on and so forth. All the other users will have limited access, so they can't go in and try to manipulate or do
Do anything
anything.
else to it.
Right.
There's gonna be a trail.
And it records the data, so if Bob were to get in there and do all that stuff, it even tracks the IP address where the computer was used to submit that evidence.
Time, stamp and everything.
I log in and do all that, it's gonna tell you when and where, what IP, what computer was used to make this change. So if I had a radio, they put the wrong number down, part of the serial number, and I noticed that, I need to make that change and have it reran through dispatch to make sure that it show up stolen in another county. I can rerun that, and I can correct it in the system, and it's gonna show that change, this is what it was before, this is what it is now, here's who made the change, and here's what computer they used to make that change on.
And why they did it.
Why they
How they
did.
did it.
Sounds great to me.
I think you'd be, at least get more modern there.
Move forward, yeah, got it organized.
Yeah, it is time.
But here's the thing, if
It'd be a waste
No,
of
it's
time.
been a disaster, it's been a worry, you know, there wasn't a lot I could do with it.
that's what's sad is we have evidence to put somebody away of a heinous crime. But what if we didn't have a system in place to take care of it?
Right.
And the right, and manage it the way it should be managed.
And you couldn't find it.
And it's ridiculous to have evidence from the 80s in there when they don't need to be in there. And if it's a murder case, they send it to the state of Texas.
Let them take care of it, instead of Texas take care of it.
We were talking, the classic example, of course, is the O.J. Simpson trial, when he says guilty or innocent, whatever. The defense attacked the evidence,
Yeah.
you know, and the LA Police Department's procedural evidence carrier custody.
They're gonna look at any small link in there that they can break, you know, and that's anything that they can. Okay, I think we ought to give them an opportunity, we go through that same timestamp.
Well,
Take it out of that.
the
We'll look
time-
at that, I don't know if that's gonna fit.
Okay,
We'll
we'll,
look at that.
Well, if they don't fit, then we can take it out of records.
we can look at stuff.
Let's
different.
use it as plan
We'll do it with an evidence of A, go through timestamp, or B,
Time payment.
time payment,
A.
With,
Plan payment or.
with each year coming
each year.
$1,000.
$1,000 maintenance coming out of there also. Yes,
Works. Is that a motion?
that's a motion.
Second.
Motion is the, yes,
We enter contract with evidence on Q.
on key.
File queue.
Or we purchase the software.
The software is evidence on cue by the
And
company.
then maintenance contract along with it.
Okay.
There'll be a maintenance contract that goes with
Well,
it.
the purchase of the software and maintenance fee.
All right.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of vague what it says, but it does say to be used for judicial purposes in court.
Well, that's what
That's
evidence
what
is,
exactly
it says
what it
judicial purpose.
Hey, Chris, does it say anything about like, a contract like this?
Is that just an annual contract?
Is it annual? Yeah.
I'm not aware of the term. They sent it to the sheriff and forwarded it over to you all. That's where, I don't think there's a minimum term but 1 year.
On the back, it says annual maintenance and support. It doesn't say whether or not you can sign the contract for 3 years or 4 years.
No,
whatever.
so it's, you know, may have to renew it every year.
Just do an annual renewal.
It'd be nice to lock them down to
And the way she,
$1,000 for a while, at least 3 or 4 years, whatever. Because everybody goes up. the prices, yeah. 1,100.
I mean, the money is paid by criminals.
Last sheet,
There you go.
They need to be the ones out here.
We're gonna take a break.
the only question I had, and I'm not sure, I think we're tied in with this agenda, as far as the, propertyroom.com. I know we talked about it last meeting. I know we had the contract, no, we didn't have a contract. No. There's no additional cost up front. It's just offering our items that we can auction off online so we get the most that we can for those items.
and they do take them off premises.
Yes, they come by, pick them up. Since we're, due to the distance that we are from them, I'm trying to think of where they're located, now they're up north,
Yeah.
so, it's not Washington.
I'm sorry.
Propertyroom.com, they in Washington.
No, that's where my evidence on the table is. They moved, I believe their headquarters is now in DC.
DC, okay.
Yeah.
Due to the distance, they will support us once annually, which is fine. We're not have to get rid of it all the time. We can accumulate this stuff for a year, have them come by and pick it up at no cost. And then they sell it online.
They never bring it back.
No, we never see it again. We don't want it back, no.
No.
So like, what they'll do is if they can't sell something individually, they'll start pulling them together like an auction. Sure.
And there's some-
Consolidate to get rid of it.
There's some good things they have. They have a diamond ring, they have an old sewing machine, I promise you, it's worth a lot of money. Old records, it's probably worth vinyl records.
Anybody?
Chris is.
They had Buddy Holly, they had Buddy Holly's original glasses.
I believe we'll sign a contract with them.
I'll take a bet on that. Property online?
So I thought we already had.
It's called propertyroom.com.
Propertyroom.com.
But we still need to vote on the first one.
Yes.
Okay, that's exactly $8,000
It's one of the better ones out there.
initial cost, and that doesn't include the first year's maintenance.
Yeah. We'll be at $1,100 after that.
$1,100 thereafter.
The next May.
Yes, 1 year from the date that you purchased.
Yeah.
They contract with the sheriff.
It's not up.
Save
take care of the
Property room.
property.
See,
What we need to do, we have to have a contract with them?
If we had, I don't know that we had a contract in that last agenda, because I know it was discussed, but,
John, do you know?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
We have to enter a contract with this property room people?
Yes, and it's basically, it's really nothing more than just a liability for the property that we're sending. Because there is no money involved.
but we don't have a
We don't have
contract.
that.
Did we,
I can get the
We need to get a copy.
They're talking about the software.
No.
that's something-
We're talking about the others.
Online evidence
Oh, the online.
disposal.
Yeah.
I thought I sent that to you.
Yeah.
Was it in the last agenda?
No, it wasn't on the,
Okay.
we had talked about it in public comments.
Right.
Put it on the next agenda.
let's get a copy of it, put on the next.
I'll have a copy of the contract on that.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be.
Recess.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Nice job. Thank you.
Let that door, Vanderbilt is not, you're walking in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Disney at work.
Thank you, Chris.
He's gonna hang around for the
He's
DPS.
not done yet.
No,
Oh, he's not?
no, the DPS,
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Young County meeting, Commissioners Court setting in regular meeting. It is 10:59 a.m. And we're back, we've been on recess, we're back in session. Completed item number 10.
The cackling in.
Item number 11 is discuss, consider interlocal agreement with Texas Department of Public Safety, general services store contract, where they can buy, I believe, blood kits, blood test kits.
Urine analysis, everything.
Yeah, there's supplies that we order, sometimes biannually, or more often as we need them. Blood kits is definitely one of them, and to reorder, they advise that we have to go through the contract with them and to start order stuff.
It's interlocal agreement between us and DPS for the SO to purchase those test kits.
and this will be good till 2021.
So moved. This is
I'll
one of the
second
items, this is one of the items that was on last, on the button,
Is that why we're gonna start charges for those?
that they was gonna start charging us for, and they
Yeah, they got
decided
back.
not to, they got backed out of it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
because we were gonna start charging in for some things.
yes.
Yeah, start charging their chairs.
Yes.
Do the second?
Second. Well, that was easy for you, Chris. You didn't say much, did you?
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Seif, to enter in the interlocal Texas Department of Public Safety for the acquisition of test kits. All in favor? Carried.
It's a pretty lengthy little deal, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
Well, you didn't present much. That was easy for you there, huh?
That was easy.
That's good. Now, few words.
Okay.
Man, if you were, you run out of words before you. The presentation, you did good.
Item number 10, number 12 is consider a data use agreement with the Department of State Health Services and/or Health and Human Services for online birth certificate service. And this is item through the county clerk's office that we've been doing. And I don't know if the contract looks
Okay.
identical, but there's a little other stuff involved in it if you want to address that, Shane.
It's just going back to working with the vital statistics in Austin, with this computer that they've got coming out called Texas Ever, and it's supposed to be handling marriages, deaths, birth, acknowledgement of paternity, and it's also gonna have some other private information in the future, they're supposed to be, making it so that anybody that works on that computer has a background criminal history. That's why I worked that into last year, because it was supposed to be done before now. We're still not there. So that's where this is coming in at, and I'm assuming that after we get this in, then we'll start looking at background criminal history searches. And that was worked into the budget, yes.
Virtually the same contract that we did last year, that's I don't say virtually, I think it's identical.
Right.
We did redact a little bit of the immunity thing on it, I did last year, and I've also done that this year. That would be on section 6.07, 6.08. They accepted it last year, and presumptively will accept it again this year, I guess.
I'll get it
it's
sent in
anybody.
and make sure we're where exactly, if we have a problem.
I think it's required, whatever it is required, if the clerk uses their online data system for birth certificate.
Right, this is for birth certificates, it's outside the county that we can do a remote birth certificate to help people get into school. The only thing it's not good for is a passport. Right now, it could be that this new computer will generate it if we print off of it for everything, but they haven't sent us all that yet. So, we don't have.
I move that we go ahead and execute.
I'll second that one you did, sir.
Authorize me to execute that. Have a motion, that will be by county judge, second by Commissioner Sykes to authorize the execution of such interlocal agreement, or data use agreement, they're calling it, with Department of State Health Services and Health and Human Services. All in favor? Carried 5-0. Okay. Item number 13, discuss and consider requesting unclaimed capital credits. It's in your packet there, there's capital credits that are issued to members of the co-op, electrical co-op. Sometimes they move off, they can't be located, those are turned over to the comptroller for unclaimed property. They calculate the amount of that due each county where those utilities are located, and every year, 2 or 3, you get this. Will not be very much, but we've been using it. It's got specific uses to the revenue thereof. We've been using it to fund or to
We did it last year.
assist
Did you find some electric or something?
Virginia's house.
Virginia.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can do some, you can use it for economic development with it. Might be a place for it.
I think Virginia has to be a good place to put it.
Virginia's house where we used it the last 2 or 3 times that we received it.
So moved.
Okay. Authorize. Authorize request. For unclaimed capital credits. That motion by Commissioner Wiley. Second by Commissioner Rogers. All in favor? 5-0. Item number 14 is a road crossing permit that we never have received.
You didn't get that. I talked to Troy Wolf from Borderline on Friday afternoon, and when he called me and said, tell them that they were about to cut the road. I said, well, you need a permit to cut across that road. And they, of course, didn't know about it. I told him I would put it on the agenda, he would come down here and get that permit, pay for it, filled out, what have you. Then I got a call from Brandon Coley, and he said that they were there ready to do that. I said, well, you can't cut that road until we give you the permit to do that. We need to take it to the Commissioner's Court. Well, since then, Friday afternoon, they had found a conduit that had previously been placed under that road. They flushed it, and they were able to take that pipe under the conduit that was already under the road.
Well, that's one of the things.
Worked out, didn't it?
That is-
So, anyway, so once we all started talking, we found a solution to the problem.
Okay.
So, but I had put it on the agenda because I didn't know what the situation was.
So forget it.
Forget it.
No action.
You
weekend.
Okay, we're good. Item number 15, discuss, consider requesting seal bids for an 18 to 24 building precinct 1.
Right. Actually, when I made this request, it was a sealed bid slash auction for this 18 to 24 building. I think this would be a great time maybe to use the gov deals, try to keep the expense of selling this thing as low as possible and see how that works out. The 18 to 24 building is of course going to have to be moved off the precinct yard.
Is it a portable building?
No, sir, it is a frame house.
Oh, that
It's a
one right in
two-room frame
front.
with the other one at the end of the building.
It's not a bad house, it's just not of any use to us.
Juvenile used to use that, right?
No, Juvenile's got a little frame house right over.
Yeah, they got the one on the
across
side.
Oh, okay.
Where the gardens are.
Okay, yeah.
This is a different one at the end of the building, and we just need to get the driver away, so we'll put it up for sealed bids. We don't get any, of course, then it becomes trash and disposable. We can do something with it then.
Okay, so you're suggesting.
I'm suggesting we use
Gov deals?
gov deals to do this with. I talked to Benjamin at the conference, what was his name, Vander or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, he said, give them a call, they would guide you through setting it up, and they would come down and get the pictures and what have you, and put it on the website.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll.
And like I said, let's give it a try, see what happens there.
Is it here in Maine?
It's pyramid, yes. It's on blocks, it's ready to be lifted up, all blocks.
2-bedroom, bathroom?
2 bedrooms, I mean, it's just 2 rooms, there's no plumbing, there's nothing in it, just 2 rooms.
Okay.
But it's a good shape, got a good roof on it. Obviously, there's been a hailstorm sometimes
Is it
ago.
on the slab or pyramid?
It's on pyramid.
So
It'd be a great hunting cabin or something like that.
Yeah.
Kids play out?
Kid playhouse, yeah. Guest house, mother-in-law house.
Yeah.
It's already got bars on one with it.
Good mother-in-law.
Have we ever used gov deals before?
No.
No, and I'll call, he told me once we got ready to do something to contact him, and he would walk me through getting set up, and he said it's simple, and
This is something we don't expect a whole lot of money out of, and it should be something that we can get our feet wet with, skill deals with.
Is that the route that we're gonna take, or do you want to pursue seal bids? Yeah.
No, I don't want to pursue seal bids.
Okay, so it's gonna be up at auction,
Put it up for auction.
placed on gov deals website.
Yes, sir. That's what my motion is.
Second.
Good. All in favor? Okay. We'll see what that brings.
it'd be interesting, it'll be the first time, I think.
Somebody make sure, let Bear know it's on there.
Well, that'd be one kind of issue a little bit. We got moving very far, I'm not gonna bring
I
that.
just gotta figure out a way to get it out of there. That's right, it don't take
I
long.
know, it may cost more to move it than it is to buy it.
Maybe better scrap lumber.
Yeah.
Is that absolute auction?
Absolutely. Get rid of it.
No reserve?
No reserve.
Putting that $5 bid.
Come get it. Be careful.
Item number 16, discuss moving dirt, off right of way.
Yes.
Off right of way.
I had a request about a month and a half ago from David Rogers asking that we remove a pile of dirt on the side of Lost Road that was along his fence there at the bottom of the creek there. And he was afraid it was going to wash over his fence, blah, blah, blah. I said, I think he really would like that dirt. And it does need to be going away off that roadway. But I wanted to make certain that I discussed it with the court.
That's up here on Lost Road.
North Road.
It's been there a long,
Down the creek bottom, you know what I'm talking about,
it's
don't
been
you?
there a long time.
Yeah, it has been.
Whose property is it?
David Rogers.
David wants to move it over to David's. There's a gate right there at hand that we can move it into.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that the court in precinct 1 was,
I think that's great and fine. If I were you, I would advise that got a owner permission or subscribe to this signature
okay,
to file back here.
and give me permission to put it on there.
Yeah,
That's
let
what I
let
did.
him sign it.
One thing else, I just wanted to make sure that Christian, I was giving him that dirt without any kind of
Yes.
entanglements whatsoever on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, permission slip, I think, at the bill. proper thing.
Now we'll write up a permission slip, get him to sign it, bring it into the court.
That's good.
I just want to make sure you're all aware of it, doing that. That's all.
Okay.
Sounds good.
We need to have any action there on that. I don't know if there needs to be any action except.
Not until he gets his letter.
I don't think we did with letter, do we?
Yeah, when we get you.
What we did, we presented it to the court, Jimmy and I
Did you?
both did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll bring a letter to present it, but
Yeah.
And
if
then
we get an
enter
opportunity,
it.
we're gonna go ahead and move it.
Then we enter it, then she enters it. then you're
Request
supposed to
permission
go.
letter.
So
Okay.
no
See why.
action.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's to dispose of the dirt on his property.
Yes, sir, just move it to the other side of the fence and up out of the creek.
So no action.
Not this time, right.
There will be a permission slip.
That'll make it bottom water down there too.
How about let's have a motion to do that, pursuant to that permission slip, and then he just deliver that back to Kay's office.
Sounds good, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We'll have a,
It'd be
The
good.
record of it.
Yeah.
you know.
I think we'll go
Clutter up the agenda.
moving county dirt on the other side of the fence,
Thank you.
your knowledge.
At least it's on the right side of the fence, because the water goes that way.
Yeah, you're right.
Water Brook.
There's Simon and Wiley.
That's been slowing that water up through there too. Redirecting a lot of that, and it's reading that can go, it's washed out.
Right.
All in favor?
See, what I was gonna do with
What are
that,
you saying?
what I was gonna do with that dirt, when I had that,
Okay.
Moving,
Yeah, we're approving the dirt, moving the dirt pursuant to a permission
We'll
slip.
approve that, so.
what I was gonna do with that dirt, when I had it, was I was gonna put it in that bottom and build that bottom up.
Yeah, but I'd like to take it up front, up there like Lynn Wiley's place, and
Accept
live that road up.
Yeah.
surplus.
Also, that curve right there, I was gonna straighten it out, instead of having the curve.
Yeah.
I was gonna straighten it out.
Item number 17 is discuss, consider burn ban restrictions. Why you guarantee rain tonight?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Start
I like it.
It's gonna start about 10.
We'll write that down.
Start about 10:30.
Okay.
I say 10:32.
I took credit for the last one.
Did you?
No action.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All into it. All in favor? Three, two, go.
The highway engineer on that 1769 project, went out there and looked at LC Young Road. Didn't even culvert there.
Think so.
I was thinking it was a culvert there.